The history of politics tells us how things are supposed to happen. A party gets elected, there is great joy, and rejoicing, and big promises. Then, after a few years, events, entropy, and human nature start to cause problems. Politicians are caught with their hands in the till, or in something else, and the party is brought down. The timeline is usually 10 to 15 years. Look back at history. It's what happens. But not with the SNP. The SNP is different. Yes, the Derek Mackay scandal will have some effect on the party's reputation. Yes, it will further corrode some of the once shiny metal of the party machine. But I'm prepared to bet good money, I'm from Aberdeen, so let's keep it relatively small, £50 say, that when the next opinion poll is released, the Mackay affair will have made no difference to support for the SNP. None. Zero. I'm confident my 50 quid is safe. The reason I'm confident is that, within the history of British politics, there is the history of Scottish politics, and it tells us that many Scottish voters behave differently because of how some people feel about England. For decades, Labour's support in Scotland was immune to events, including scandal, because the party was seen as pro-Scottish and anti-Tory. Even the eventual downfall of Labour in Scotland happened for the same reasons it lasted so long. Some voters started to see the SNP instead as more pro-Scottish and anti-Tory than Labour, and so switched sides. And the votes for the SNP came with the same guarantee: stay pro-Scottish and anti-Tory and you've got our support come what may. Scandals? Who cares? Just so you know, I'm not saying this unswerving loyalty to the SNP will last forever. Even winter in Narnia came to an end eventually, but it will last way beyond the usual cycle of success followed by crisis followed by defeat, and it will remain immune to scandals such as the Mackay affair for a good while yet. Breaking the SNP loyalists down into several categories explains why. The first category is the most unpleasant, the apologists, who we first encountered when the claims of attempted rape and sexual assault were made against Alex Salmond. Salmond was the victim of a unionist MI5 UK plot, they said. Others said Salmond's accusers were either lying or had thrown themselves at the former First Minister. There were also questions asked about why it had taken so long, 5 years, for the complaints to be made, the implication being that complaints that are not made immediately might be fake. Sadly, 2 years on, we've seen exactly the same kind of thing with Mackay. One SNP councillor said it was all probably a honey trap set by the British establishment. There were also some who questioned the motives of the 16-year-old boy's family in the same way they questioned the motives of the women who accused Salmond. Why did the boy's family go to? For more on this story, visit the news article link.